Bort? Oh, come on, Bort?
Mommy, buy me a license plate!
No, come along, Bort.
Hello and welcome to the Bort Experience, episode 15, Simpsons and Delilah. This is season 2, episode 2, but 15 overall. First, I just want to say thank you so much. I'm up to, as of this recording, 135 subscribers, and the channel's doing very well. So thank you for your support. If you can, please like, subscribe, and just leave a comment below, and also share with your friends. I always like engaging with people in the comments and also on social media. So check out the bio for the links for my social media accounts. So let's jump into the episode. So Simpsons and Delilah was written by John Vitti and directed by Rich Moore. It originally aired on Fox in the United States on October 18th, 1990. A very interesting fact, I am recording this in 2025, October 18th. So I just thought that was a funny kind of coincidence. That airing, recording and airing on the same day, but just, of course, different year. The chalkboard gag is Tar is not a plaything, and the couch gag is the family does a little Egyptian dance, which I thought was pretty funny. You know the those are always great. So the episode summary: Homer discovers a new miracle hair growth formula called dimoxicil, and cheats on some insurance forms so he can buy some. Homer grows hair overnight and is soon given a promotion at the Springfield nuclear power plant. He gets a new secretary named Carl, who helps him become successful. However, Mr. Burns' assistant, Waylon Smithers, becomes jealous of all the attention Burns is giving Homer and discovers that Homer had committed insurance fraud on the insurance forms. Smithers tries to fire Homer, but Carl claims he committed the insurance fraud and is fired in Homer's stead. Bart spills Homer's remaining medicine, and Homer loses all his hair. As a result, Homer is demoted back to his old position. So, my thoughts on this episode, it's not as deep as the first episode of the season, but it was a really pretty funny one. As someone that, as you can tell, is bald or balding, I'm kind of like growing my hair back. I don't know. I'm just feeling, I haven't just cut it. I usually cut it myself. So as someone that is bald, I used to have really long hair. Maybe I'll put a photo on the screen of me, what I used to look like when I was way younger. Had a huge afro. So I know Homer's pain of not having any hair. I think I look good bald too, but it does kind of suck, not to have hair. And I find it so funny that the main crux or story or what they're trying to tell you is if you have hair, people will listen to you. But if you're bald, you're considered a quote-unquote loser. I just thought that was really funny. And it makes me think about, I wonder which writers are bald compared to which ones have hair. Matt Groening, of course, has, really long hair. But I'm not really sure about all the other writers, what they look like and everything. So that'd be kind of interesting to kind of look at. It's like which ones are making fun of themselves and which ones are being made fun of. That would be very interesting. I thought, the insurance fraud was interesting, where it makes me think of kind of today's world where there's always some kind of new medicine or kind of gimmicky thing. And, everyone's looking for a fix for whatever problem they might have. It's like, if I could just take one pill and solve all my problems, I would. So it's just kind of interesting how it kind of parallels to today's world where people are always, like I said, looking for that fix. But usually it's never that simple, or it just doesn't work. So I thought that was interesting. I also found it interesting that this episode really focused mainly on Homer. The rest of the family were kind of in it, but not that much. I thought, it was kind of funny that when Homer does finally get his hair, he's running through town, everyone's really happy. And then when he comes back, or a little bit later in the episode, Patty and Selma are over, and Marge is like, Homer hasn't been this frisky in years. And then they're like, oh, we're going to get sick. And then they see Homer and they're almost turned on too. So I find that kind of funny, where it's like, if I just had hair, all these great things would happen. And then, of course, Homer becomes an executive at the nuclear power plant. It's really just he's kind of coasting with his hair, and then Carl was a fantastic guest star. It's like one of the only people so far in the show that has really believed in Homer, more than his family and more than his other friends that think he's like, an idiot like Lenny and Carl. So it was kind of great to see him. I don't think he ever pops back up in the show, but it was a great kind of guest appearance, and an interesting guy. Also, I was really shocked to see him like kiss Homer towards the end of the episode, especially back in the '90s, which I know a lot of that kind of stuff wasn't widely seen on television, especially network television at the time. Of course, in 2025 it's a lot different world than 1990. So it was great to see. I found it interesting, and I wonder what the executives at Fox thought of that, or maybe they weren't even really aware. It seemed like they kind of stayed out of the Simpsons hair because they were so popular, but you always wonder, like, now you see like executives like change that kind of stuff based on pressure. I think it's like, as long as it's part of the story and it, like, more power to people. And I thought it was really great to see, honestly. I also thought it was very funny that Waylon Smithers, he's really feeling like Smithers more this season. He's jealous of Homer because of course he wants to be with Mr. Burns, and just has wants to have a relationship with Mr. Burns, which we see later in the show, which I thought was great. And just him like finding out about the insurance fraud and everything like that. But it kind of has like another meta question of like, when people actually do have conditions, it's like, oh, you go to the emergency room and have to spend thousands of dollars, but you have no other choice, at least in the US. So it makes you kind of like have a little bit of a commentary on like, hey, why can't medicine be a lot cheaper? And you kind of get into that debate of like why our health care system is like broken, at least in this country. I know we're probably not the worst, but we're definitely not the best. And I know there's other places out there that definitely have a lot better options for people and their families, especially when it's things that are really like life threatening. Maybe hair is not the end of the world if you go bald, but it would be nice if there was treatments for all kind of medical needs and mental as well. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I would say this is another kind of like popcorn funny episode. Didn't get super deep, but I did enjoy most of the just the story beats and just the kind of absurdity of like just not having hair versus not having hair. So overall, like I said, enjoyable episode. So our next segment, we'll go to the citizens of Springfield. We have our main cast: Dan Castanella as Homer Simpson, Mr. Winfield, Barney Gumble. Let's see. I think I might have got. Sorry, I'm just double checking. Sometimes, like when I look up the cast, I get like things, and then I write them down, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know if all these people were in there in this specific episode. But I think he was a singing telegram and board member number 3. So I think it is right. So I apologize. We have Julie Carpenter as Marge Simpson, Selma and Patty Bouvier. We have Nancy Cartwright as Bart Simpson. We have Yardley Smith as Lisa. We have Harry Shearer as game show host, commercial voice, Dr. Boyle, Lenny, Jack the Barber, and then Waylon Smithers, and then Montgomery Burns, and then a couple coworkers. It doesn't list their name, just number 3. Harry Fernstein as Carl, Hank Azaria as Carl, a different Carl, board member number 1, man in audience. The Carl who is the guest star starts with a K, and then our Carl that we've seen before, Homer's friend, starts with a C. Pamela Hayden as game show contestant, applicant, board member number 2, Millhouse, and woman in audience. And then we had Russ Taylor as Martin Prince and Lewis, which sometimes these are listed, like I said earlier, where I'm like, do all these people appear? But maybe it's like they appear on screen just for a couple seconds, and I just don't recall. The MVP of the episode, I got to give it to Homer. I think, maybe 49%, 48%, and then the rest, I got to give it to Carl. I feel like when you have someone that believes in you and like helps you, I know Carl was doing a lot of the work, but he also kind of inspired Homer to be like, hey, stand up and you can actually be something and be someone. and he was very thoughtful. Like when Homer forgot their anniversary, Carl was there. Carl helped write Homer a speech. He even gave his umbrella as he's walking out as after he got fired to Homer because Homer didn't bring an umbrella to work. And I think that just I think a lot of people need that in life, where not someone that just does everything for you, but just someone that believes in you. And it makes me think, if you've ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's an episode called Tales of Bosun Say, and it has Uncle Iroh, and this guy's trying to mug him, and he like tells him, hey, you don't seem like the criminal type, and he kind of gives him some words of wisdom, and the guy's like, no one's ever believed in me before. And I think a lot of people just need that, where they just need like one person or two people, or like just a small group of people, even if it's just one, to like believe in them. And I really enjoyed that, and I thought his character was very empowering, and really helped Homer kind of believe in himself, and I thought it was great. So yeah, I think I was leaning, it's mainly about Homer, but I think Carl actually deserves the MVP. So I think I'm going to give it 100% to Carl. The best joke. So this is really funny. It kind of happens towards the end of the episode. We have Bart is kind of messing around with Homer's hair tonic, and he kind of envisions himself with a beard at school, and people are like, is that real? And they're pulling on his beard. So he puts some on his face. Homer catches him, gets mad. Bart drops it, and of course spills the rest of the hair treatment onto the ground. And this is what Homer says. Okay, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to tell you 3 things that will haunt you for the rest of your days. You ruined your father, you crippled your family, and baldness is hereditary. Bart, shocked, it is. So I just thought that was like kind of funny, where, hey, you might be pulling all these pranks, but one day, son, you'll be where I'm at. And you know what's interesting? I think Homer is around 36 or maybe 39 years old. So I'm approaching, his age within the show, which I find kind of interesting. That I don't know if you've ever seen the meme, and I'll maybe put it on the screen, where it's like people in their 30s in the 1990s, and it's like a picture of George Costanza, and then people in their 30s now, and it's like some like young looking actor. I can't remember who they use. I don't know if it's like Timothée Chalamet. I think he's like probably less than 30, but it's just kind of funny what like some people 30 versus other. So it kind of just made me think about that. But overall, it had some other good lines in there. I thought the kind of some of the scenes with Homer and the doctor he's trying to get the medicine for. I thought they had some funny back and forth, where Homer like is crying about his hair, and then when he's at work, he's telling his coworkers, he's like, I told that guy off, but that's not really how exactly it went. So, but overall, I think that joke at the end is probably the best of the episode. All right, we got trivia. I couldn't find in like my little trivia box. I didn't look through every single card, but I couldn't find another Halloween of Trios Horror one. But I did find a pretty good one. Oh, and before I forget, my wife got a wonderful shirt for me, which is very similar to what the old trivia game. There was a poster, and maybe I'll put it on the screen, where it had this kind of image. This one might be a newer one, but it had a very similar image, where it had so many Simpsons characters, and some of the questions on the trivia cards are like, point out this character. I never do those because, of course, I don't want to hold it up. I don't think it would be a good format for that. But I want to thank my wife for this awesome Simpsons shirt. So, without further ado, let's get to the trivia, which is one of my favorite. I love trivia, so this is one of my favorite sections here. So, according to Mo, why is the prank caller going to be so tough to catch? According to Mo, why is the prank caller going to be so tough to catch? He keeps changing his name. I thought that was a great joke. I don't know what episode that appears in, but that just seems so hilarious, because it's, of course, usually Bart and Lisa and Maggie's there too. But Mo gets so angry and like bloodlusty, and like he's gonna murder the person once he finds them. So I think it's one of those like really funny running jokes. I don't know if it's still running in the modern era, but just I know it runs for several seasons in the kind of the golden age period. So, but overall, thank you so much. The next episode, I'm really excited. It's going to be a Treehouse of Horror episode, really close to Halloween. I am going out of town, so hopefully I'll be able to get that out on time. If not, maybe I'll just release it on Halloween, which is not a normal release date. But thank you so much, and until next time, peace out.